Good morning. Welcome to the Real P&L Trading Show, where I share my real P&L on two accounts, on actually three accounts, and I share my proprietary Safe Wheel options trade system for free. All right, please type in the chat that you can hear me okay. I want to make sure my audio is working. And be sure to post any questions you might have before I end the broadcast. So the sooner that you post the questions, then the easier it is for me to get to those, and then I won't end the broadcast. Simon says, sounds good. Thank you, Simon. Appreciate that. All right. Charles, thanks. And some guy, appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about what happened last week with the earnings edge. You can see my earnings edge thing here. I know today's the first day that we're changed over into Schwab from TD Ameritrade. So I have my accounts all linked up and everything. And so far, everything's working just fine. I mean, last night I came in to look at my accounts and they weren't linked together yet. So I was a little bit concerned, but it looks like they got everything together so far. So good. Less is more says the intro worked well. You can hear me okay. Thank you. And Avery says, hit that like button. All right, so I'm going to stop reading the comments now and move on to the earnings edge. So last week, what did I do? I did Baidu, and we can see here I made $336. One of the things I've done with the earnings edge is I've tweaked the exit criteria just a little bit. Actually, somebody within the course came up with an exit criteria, and I really liked it, and I like it so much that I'm going to implement it. So I have a newer exit criteria. So I might have a little higher win rate with this exit criteria, but then also my average win might be a little bit lower, but that's okay as long as I'm making money, right? Let's take a look at so I did Baidu, and I can have you can see my account NetLick, 10,690. So 10,690. I'm gonna bring the spreadsheet over and put 10,690 in here. Let's close this out. So we had Baidu. We've got, since my update, 24 wins, 22 losses, 8 break-evens. So again, I see this getting better than 50-50 with the newer kind of tighter exit criteria. I'll take a little bit less of profit, but I'll probably have a higher win rate. And what was my balance there? Move this over here. It was 10,690. 10,690. Let's see how the market. See, last Monday it was 514. I think it went up. Looking at SPY, 521.65. So it went up pretty good, 521.65. Market is up 10% this year, approximately. And the earnings edge is up 11.5, outperforming here. But on a risk-adjusted basis, the S&P is outperforming for sure, because this is a very risky, it's a pretty high risk situation. But you can see overall, since I started trading, the earnings edge up 113%, where the S&P 500 is up, only 10%. So the S&P is only up 10% since the end of 2021. So 2022, 23, and almost halfway through, that's 2.5 years, and not even up 10%. So the market's been, lately it's been doing pretty good, but boy, it's had a ways to go, hasn't it? Okay, so that is the earnings edge. Let's look at the Premier Level 5. I'll bring that over here. The Premier Level 5 account, I'm trading in Interactive Brokers because the commissions are super high. Let me hit this. And we can see my account balance, 34,308. And this is up 1.88%, but I've just switched over to this account, so that's not really accurate for the year. The spreadsheet's more accurate. 34,308. Let's take a look at that. Put that in here. Down just a little bit from last week. So we can see how the Premier Level 5 is doing. Down 2.31% this year. We had that start of the year where the market just went up without any volatility. The biggest pullback was only 2%. So with just the small pullbacks like that, PL5 doesn't do quite as well. But the thing about the PL5 is it does not draw down a lot. But when it starts making money, it doesn't have a lot to be drawn out. But that's what I like. You know, more stuff. Lose money, keep doing them to perform. So that's what PL5 is all about. And we can see I'm up 14 points since inception, 14.3, and the S&P is at 27.6. That's the 3.8%. On a risk-adjusted basis, I'd say it's about how about one third the risk. So you can multiply this number by 3. So on a risk-adjusted basis, this is doing fine. Are we having a problem with the audio? I'm getting a call here. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm not sure how to fix the audio. Okay. All right, well, it looks like my daughter called me and said my audio is off a little bit. Let me see if I might be able to try to fix that now. I might be able to switch off into a different. Oh, so the audio is working now. Now it's fading. All right. Let me try a different. I'll check my settings here and I'll go to a different microphone. See if that helps. Okay, so now I'm in a different microphone. Does that sound better? Let me know, guys, in the comments. Okay. All right. Hopefully that's working okay. If not, let me know. Maybe it's my distance aside. All right. Well, it sounds good now. Let's see. It's good now. Okay, so I'm using a different microphone. All right, let's move forward here. You can see, so maybe you didn't hear some of the stuff I said before, but with the PL5, again, the key is low drawdown. So even when the PL5 is not doing great, it doesn't really draw down very much. And that's the key. You don't want to try to dig out of that. You don't want a deep trough to dig out of. You want a shallow, because when you start making money, then it just does really well. And again, you can see since April 8th, 2022, I got about a 14.3, and it looks like the market's outperforming. But remember, I've only got about 1/3 the drawdown. So you can multiply this times 3 for a risk-adjusted basis if you want to be more conservative. I really like the PL5. And I showed my account there already with Interactive Brokers. Okay, let's get into the safe wheel. This thing is totally different now. So the safe wheel is this one here, I believe. Yeah. Yes, so my safe wheel account here, 6413. Schwab's got these things, got different account numbers now. 6413, 6413, so it's up a little this. I'm not sure why that didn't work. Okay, so for the year to date, wow, was that really my starting point? That's interesting how it's exactly where I started. That's why it's 0. Okay. All right, so looking at safe wheel, we've got outperformance in 2022, underperformed 2023, underperforming here in 2024 a little bit, but overall up 28% versus around 10%. So vastly outperforming there. I've got about 1/2 the drawdowns with the safe wheel. And this is, if you watch this live stream, you can pick up on the safe wheel and watch me trade it right in front of you. So you should be able to pick up how to do it. So let's move this out of here and let's talk about the safe wheel. What do I need to do? Where am I? Looks like I got a sign last week. So I'm running the wheel, traditional wheel, plus the hedges here. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at my hedges, make sure that my hedges are good and they are what I want them to be. So the first thing I'll look at with a hedge, this is put hedge. I've got 3 long contracts here, which is equivalent to 3 long shares, depending on the delta, of course, and or 300 shares, depending on the delta. Let me say that again. It's like being short 300 shares, of course, depending on the delta. And here on the days, I have 130 And if this is under 100, then my put hedge would be depreciating too fast for what I like and for what the system kind of has in mind. So the fact that it's not under 100, that's good. That's check number one. Check number two is this $24 close enough to the 27? Is it within 70%? So we're trading at 27.17, 27.17 times 70%. So 19. So as long as my strike is at 19 or higher, right, I'm good. And it's at 24. So this is good. Nothing to do here. I have my long call that I put on Fridays. I only paid $6 for it. I pay around $5 for it. This long call is just to hedge this put hedge here in case maybe there's some type of takeover bid or something, and LI goes from 27 to 57. I have this long call to protect this put hedge, because this put hedge would go to 0 in that case, but this long call would cover. So I have my hedges in place. They look good. They're proper. So now I'm going to run the traditional wheel. What happened? Last week I sold the 28.50 put and I got assigned. So now I own 100 shares. So with the traditional wheel at this point, what I want to do is sell a covered call at the 28.50 strike. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that or not. Let's take a look. And I want to do it within the nearest expiration cycle, the one that expires on Friday. So 28.50. So I'm trying to get around 27 cents approximately. So it looks like I can. Barely. So I'm going to go ahead and sell a covered call against this basis here of 28.50. I would prefer to sell a covered call out of the money, but I won't sell something in the money. I'll just sell something at the money, worst case. So I'm going to sell one of these. And mid price 27. So just one, and sell a covered call against my position that expires at the end of the week. And we can see here that order filled at $27. So I barely got enough premium. If this is like 25 cents, I probably would not have sold that covered call. There would not have been enough premium. I want to get, at least close to, 1% of that. So 27 is really pushing it, but it's close enough to 28.50 as far as getting my 1% premium. I want to collect premium. Okay, so that's really the move of the day here, just selling a call against my 100 shares. Now, if I couldn't sell anything here, if, in other words, this 28.50 call didn't have enough premium, I would have opened up a second tranche and I would have would have sold another put. But I didn't need to do that. I was able to get some premium against my shares at my basis 28.50. Okay, also be sure to hit that like button. That's one thing I wanted to say today. I know Avery already said it. All right, I guess my audio is working. Good. Are there any questions, especially about the safe wheel? I mean, I'll answer your questions about the safe wheel. This is a really good system. Like I said, it's up. Let me look. It's outperforming the S&P pretty good, up 28%, and the S&P is up around 10 since inception, with about 1/2 the drawdowns. Charles has a question here. Any thoughts on why the safe whale has struggled with LI? So let's talk about that. Account statement here. Yeah, year to date, you can see LI, it's struggled a little bit here, hasn't it? It's down. Well, what happened with LI is it went from $30 to $45 and then back to $30. So it got pretty volatile. So, that's the way it goes. Most of the money is made when you own shares and you sell a covered call far out of the money and then you get assigned. That's where most of the money's made. And that really hasn't happened a lot with LI. It's been kind of the opposite. But I don't see any difference between LI or DraftKings or anything else. It's a statistical probability trade. And so I'm going to show here, hopefully, right, that LI is going to be a profitable stock. So I'm going to stay with it as long as I can because I want to see that this stock will be profitable just like all the other ones that I've traded in the past. Pooh Hill says, I have a dream that all P&Ls will be revealed. Martin Luther King. Will, I don't know how you think of these things. Okay, so I don't see a lot of questions here. Let's see. Will says, any thoughts on modern monetary theory? There was some chatter about it in the news last week. You mean printing money until we have too much inflation? I mean, it semi is working right now, but based on history, it seems like almost all of the, based on history, I've seen almost all of the currencies collapse one way or another. I mean, typically this is how they get collapsed, by just printing and printing and printing. I would prefer that the government kept a budget and stayed within a budget rather than printing money to pay for things, because now they just have an open checkbook to do whatever they want. And I think eventually that's not going to work. What's going to happen? Well, almost all other currencies have failed. So it's probably a high probability that the dollar is going to fail at some point. I don't know when. Hopefully not in my lifetime. Less is more. Was your current SafeWheel account value really the same exact number? I mean, yeah, it was. Look, because you can see my P&L year to date is 541 here and minus 532 here. So that was crazy. I was wondering what was going on. Something was wrong with my spreadsheet, but it totally possible that it matched up, because you can see my P&L right here. I'm up $9.30. So maybe at the time when I looked at it 10 minutes ago, it was exactly. Interesting, isn't it? Avery says that DKNG was better. We'll see. We'll see. I know Macy's was really good. Macy's made good money. But I don't think it had to do with, Macy's or DKNG or LI. I think it just had to do with the way the stock moved at that particular time. Slow day. Everyone must have partied hard on Mother's Day. Thanks, Will. Take care. And Steve-O says, was just going to say government overspending is a cause of inflation right now. Yep, sure is. Okay. Oh, question here from Dormer. Can you say more about the Earnings Edge profit targets? So what I've changed is the Earnings Edge, I typically would let it run until the end of the week, and then whatever I got at the end of the week, that's what I would get. Unless I had a 10% return on my account, I would pull that out right away. But sometimes that thing would pop beyond 10%. But right now, what I've done is kind of a tiered profit target. So early on, I'll take more money, and as time goes by, I'll take less. And then as more time goes by, I'll take less. And so I've kind of done a tiered approach to the profit target. And I think it's, well, the people that have been doing that have been outperforming me in the course. So I like the idea of doing it that way. It makes it more black and white too. So there's a few things that I liked about it, and the reason why I'm going to adopt it from here. So hopefully that explained it. All right, well, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to go ahead and start closing this thing down. And one thing I always like to say, oh, I got a couple more questions. Hold on, let me get to these. Some guy holding till Friday has generated some big winners too. Absolutely. That is kind of the downside of taking profits a little earlier on the Earnings Edge. And Aya says, Is the safe wheel a bullish strategy? I would say no. I wouldn't say it's directional. It's just a non-directional strategy. So you can make money if the market, if it goes down, and you can make money if it goes up. You can make money if it stays the same. You can also, lose money in all those three scenarios. So no, I would not say it's a bullish strategy. Okay, guys. Well, here's what I like to say here. If the P&L is not real, what else are they trying to conceal? I'll be back next week.